Everybody, what's up? I thought I would go over the 20 games for the PlayStation Classic. They just got announced and kind of give you an idea if they're really worth it or not. I worked in retail with video games for a long time, so I kind of know prices and stuff like that here and there on these things. And I've played a lot of these games. I grew up with the PlayStation, and it's a great system. And there's many. I guess it really depends. We'll go over all the games. I'm going to try to make this quick so I don't keep you here forever, but I'll let you know. I got my computer pulled up over here. Number 1, Battle Arena Toshinden. That's a fun game. I don't know that I would have kept that one. You know, I could see it being on there. It's a very fun game, but I would have rather had one of a 2D fighter or something on there. Because we already have Tekken 3, which I'll go over that later. But Cool Borders 2, that is our extreme sports game on here. I would have much rather had Tony Hawk, although Cool Borders 2 is a very fun game. So that one's okay. Like I said, Tony Hawk would have been better though. Destruction Derby, that one's an odd one to be on here, but I mean it's, you know, a Destruction Derby. You're ramming cars into other cars. That's kind of cool. But there's a Twisted Metal game on here too, so I'm not really sure why that one came in. That one feels like filler. Final Fantasy VII, that one is a must-have. That one was already announced for sure. Grand Theft Auto, that one's really cool to have on here too. It's the very first one, the top-down one. That game is a ton of fun, so a lot of people, I would think, have played a bunch of the newer games, but maybe not the older ones, so I'm glad to see that one on there. Intelligent Cube, I'll be honest with you, I've never played this game. I've sold it. I've seen it a lot of times, and I never had any interest in it at all. So this one really feels like filler to me too, because I've never heard anybody be like, "Oh man, did you try out Intelligent Cube? That game is the balls. Is awesome." I never heard that. Not once. Not once. I never even had anybody come up and ask me for that. I probably sold it to them for people that want to fill in their collections. Maybe it's a much better game than I'm giving it credit for, but there you go. Intelligent Cube's on there. Jumping Flash. That game's all right. That one was already announced, I believe, of one of the original 6. I'm not sure, but that game's okay. The next game, though, for sure is something that had to be on there, and I made a little video a while back of games I'd like to see, and this one was on there. This one might be the only one that was on there that I wanted to see, but Metal Gear Solid, you have to have it. You have to have it. And I will say there are other games that you have to have that are not on this, and I'll go over that at the very end. But Metal Gear Solid, Mr. Driller, that's a fun puzzle game. Nothing to really write home about, but it's fun, it's cool, it's on there, it's a really colorful. I think Namco made it. It's a good game. Oddworld, Abe's Odyssey, that's a very good platformer. I played that a lot when I was younger. I would imagine a lot of younger people have not played that, so that'll be cool for them to play, as well as Rayman, which is next on the list. Rayman is a ton of fun, and the first one, having it on there makes all the sense in the world. Those games held up really well. They still look really nice. So Rayman is a good addition to it. Resident Evil Director's Cut. Of course you need a Director's Cut. I kind of would have been irritated if it would not have been that. But that improved things, made the game a little bit better. That game is a classic. It's definitely cool that it's on there. I think I might have preferred Silent Hill over that. But I guess to each their own on whether they play Silent Hill or Resident Evil. I play both, but I like the original Silent Hill a little bit better. I would have liked the Parasite Eve game over that even further, which I believe the Japanese console is getting a Parasite Eve game, and the American and US one, I don't know if the European one or not, is getting the game or not, but Japanese got Parasite Eve, we did not. We got Resident Evil Director's Cut, which is still cool. Revelations Persona. Now this one is super cool. This one is where the value really comes in, because this game is pretty rare and it's pretty pricey. So it's very cool they put this one on here. I did not foresee this, and I'm not going to complain about it because it's such an oddball title, I would think, to put on your PlayStation Classic, because there are so many other RPGs that people played, and this was not one of them. And they really didn't gather popularity here until much later. So, but it's very cool. I'm glad that one is there. Ridge Racer Type 4, it's a good arcade racer. Gran Turismo is not on here for some reason, and I would think the PlayStation would they would go more for Gran Turismo than they would, Ridge Racer. But I think this is one of the 6 that were announced too. I don't mind. A Ridge Racer is a good arcade racer, so it's cool to have on the system. Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo. That game is awesome. That is one of my favorite puzzle games in the world. I might like it more than Tetris. It's Street Fighter, except you're battling with puzzles. The characters are chibis. It's very cool. I actually hoped that one would be on there because I knew puzzle games would appear, and I think that is the puzzle game to put on there. So I'm glad that it showed up. Siphon Filter. I like the Siphon Filter games a whole lot. I played the first 3, and 2 was definitely the best. It was definitely my favorite, and I'm really not sure why they don't have the second one on here as opposed to the first one. I guess earlier in the story, maybe that's the only reasoning there. But it doesn't make a whole lot of sense because there are sequels on here as opposed, there's no other Tekken game on here, but there's Tekken 3. It starts at 3. The same thing with Twisted Metal. Twisted Metal 2 is a far superior game than the first one, and Siphon Filter, I can at least give it a story reasoning that maybe they just have the first one on here as opposed to the second one. Twisted Metal, you're blowing up cars with other cars. I mean, there's not a whole lot of story there, and Twisted Metal 2 is a way better game. I don't know if it came down to soundtrack licensing or something like that. I don't know, but the first Twisted Metal's on there, which is still a good game. I'm not going to poo-poo Twisted Metal. I just would have rather had the second one, and I think a lot of other people wanted that one too. Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six. I have never been a big fan of Rainbow Six. I had this game when I was younger. I sucked at it because you die in one shot. Which is more similar to some like Call of Duty's and more realistic shooters now. But yeah, you're pretty much a shot and you're dead in this game. It feels weird that it's on there, but it's on there. Maybe that's for some people. I don't know. And then we got Wild Arms. Wild Arms, of course, is a great game. It is a Western-style RPG. And I can't remember if that one was announced or not as one of the original 6. I think it was. I really should have looked those up, but it's on there. It's a fun game. That one's definitely worth having. Let me make sure I didn't miss any. No, I didn't. Oh, look, there's Cool Borders 2. That was another one that was a sequel as opposed to putting the original one on there. But there are definitely some strange omissions here that I don't know that I would have done, especially if you're slapping a $100 price tag on this bad boy. That's a lot of money. Now, I could make an argument that if you bought them all physical or whatever, even used, the value goes up. But there's so many digital versions out there that are much cheaper. Plus, people are probably going to be modding this thing and putting what games they want on there anyway. So if you're going to do that, then the value is definitely there because it's a cool little machine to have on your on your entertainment center or on display that you can pop in and play the games at a much higher resolution. Or I guess they'll look better on your TV, your flat screens. But yeah, Symphony of the Night isn't on there. What the hell is up with that? They're about to release Symphony of the Night again, but I wouldn't think that would really take away from anybody buying it anywhere else, because Symphony of the Night comes packaged with another game. For the new release that's coming out. So why the original isn't on here, that is kind of beyond me. Also, there are no Tomb Raider games on here. That's really weird too, because there are other Square games on here. I would have liked to see Chrono Cross on here, and that one, I thought that one could be a long shot, but it was also late enough into the PlayStation lifestyle that it's a very nice looking game, and I think it would have scaled up really well on TVs, and I think a lot of people would have liked to play it that probably haven't. Crash Bandicoot's not on here, and he was practically a mascot for Sony for a long time. No Spyro either. Now both of those, Crash has got a trilogy remake or whatever, but you still could have, it's been far enough out that they still could have put a Crash game on there. Spyro is the trilogy's coming out. If it hasn't already, I don't think it has, but I would have liked to have seen one of those on there. Those are not as big as, you know, the fact that there isn't Symphony of the Night on there and there's no Tomb Raider games on there. That seems really... The Tomb Raider kind of defined the PlayStation. That was the reason to get the PlayStation at first. So, I don't know. Is this game, or is the console actually worth the $100? I would say for me, yeah, it kind of is. I really want the Persona and stuff on there. With that being on there, that really drives me to wanting it. But I would say that it makes a very easy argument for people to say, no, it's not worth it because, you know, not everybody's going to be attached to a certain game or something like that, like I am, that it's really going to make it worth it, you know, worth the investment and putting $100 down on this thing. I would say if, you know, you're going to get like people did with the Super Nintendo Mini and the NES Mini, if you're going to mod it and add a bunch of games to it, to each their own there. I know that's kind of a dicey subject, but if you're going to do that, then yeah, the value is probably there because it is a cool looking little machine. But if a lot of these games, you know, if you wanted Tony Hawk and all that stuff, if you wanted Symphony of the Night, those are not if Symphony of the Night was on here, I would have no problem. There would be no debate in my mind saying that this thing, you know, you definitely spend the $100 for this. You're gonna want to play that game if you haven't. I don't know. I can't say. I could say for me, yeah, I'll probably pick this guy up. But for anybody else, no, I can't recommend it unless they have something that just sticks out so hard on here that they, you know, that it appeals to them so well that they have to grab it. So to each their own. There's the list. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Let me know if you think it's crap Symphony of the Night's not on there. Let me know if you think that it's okay that it's not on there and you're going to pick it up. Let me know if you're not going to pick it up. And please subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out. We're growing a lot here. So it keeps me motivated to doing more things like this. I don't typically do things alone, so it's a little harder, a little awkward for me. I stumble over myself. It's harder to speak. This stuff is nerve-wracking, but thank you guys for hanging out. Please subscribe to the channel. Please check out the Let's Plays and the anime reviews and the wrestling reviews and stuff like that. We got all kinds of nerdy stuff on the channel. Thanks so much and take it easy.